Well, hi everybody. So today I'll be going over the T-45C Goshawk from India Foxt Echo. I'll show you how to start it up, how to take it off, and how to land it, and then do a short review on it, and that'll pretty much be it for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, well here we are in the Hawk. This is pretty much it. It does look really good, I gotta say. Now you can sit in the back if you want, I'm not going to. They're pretty much identical. The only real difference, I guess, would be that the back doesn't have a HUD here. So we'll go ahead and run through the instrument panel real quick. So starting on the left side over here, we got the airspeed indicator, climb indicator, attitude indicator, altimeter, slip indicator, angle of attack indicator. And on the right side over here, we've got fuel pressure, engine RPM, fuel gauge, exhaust gas temperature, and then all of your hydraulic pressure gauges are here, kind of on the left side of your seat. One of them is kind of obscured by the landing gear lever here. Now, your gauges are really just kind of backups for the multifunction displays or your HUD. So if something were to fail in these systems, then you would revert back to the gauges. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator, so nothing ever fails, so you don't really have to worry about it. So we'll go ahead and get the Hawk started here. So we'll want to close the canopy. Then we'll want to remove these. And then we'll come down here and we will arm the ejection seat. I'm sure it's not surprising to anybody, it doesn't work, but it does prevent an extra master caution from coming on. We'll come down here to the power panel and we'll want to flip the batteries on, flip the generator on.
Power.
Then we'll come over here to the left side. We'll want to click on this little red button here on the throttle called gas turbine starter. And then we'll click the fuel control switch. We'll flip the starter on, and then we'll flip the master ignition switch on. Now, if you like to speed this process up just a little bit, when the engine RPM here gets to about 20%, go ahead and kind of crack the throttle a little bit, and then you will want to make sure that you back it back down when it gets here to about 40. And while we wait for all this to go on, we'll go through the MFDs here. So you switch these on with these little switches here in the right corner. Now both of these are interchangeable, so you can set this up however you want. There are a number of systems in here that you can choose from. I'm just going to ignore that. I'm just going to go ahead and set up the attitude indicator on this one, and then the HSI on this one. Alrighty, so pretty much got the Hawk almost running. Well, it's running, but we've got 2 warning lights here. One is your hydraulic system, and then for the control augmentation system. So to clear those, we'll come back over here to the left side of the cockpit and flip this switch here that says hydraulic 2 reset button. And then we'll turn the control augmentation switch here to all, I believe it's all. And all the control augmentation system it's kind of like yaw dampeners and whatnot. So we'll go ahead and flip the radios on just for the sake of turning them on. And then over here, this panel here is all of the external lights. So we'll go ahead and turn those on. And then this panel here is all of the interior lights. We'll come up here and flip on the HUD, and we're left with one last warning, which is your oxygen system warning. So to clear that, we're going to come back over here to the left side of the cockpit. We're going to turn this knob and flip this switch, and that'll clear that warning. Now, something I always forget to do is to retract the ladder on the outside. So to do that, you click on footsteps release handle here, and it will bring the ladder up. So we've got the Hawk started here and we're good to go, so we'll head out to the runway and take it off. Alrighty, well here we are at the end of the runway. Before you take off, you want to make sure that you've turned anti-skid on and that you've put the flaps down to half. Now the Hawk takes a little bit under 2,500 feet to lift off the ground. This runway is 2,500 feet long, and so we're gonna keep our fingers crossed that I can clear those trees down there. But here we go. So go ahead and throttle up here. Release the parking brake. It's a pretty well-behaved plane on the runway. You don't have to mess with the rudder too much. You'll want to begin rotation at about 90 miles an hour, sorry, 90 knots, and you should lift off at about 120, maybe 115. Either way, it's going to require you to pull the stick all the way back to get it to do that. Go ahead and put the flaps up, put the gear up. Now, stall speed for the Hawk is about 115 knots with the flaps up. With them down, it has been a while since I've flown this thing, but I think it's about 94 knots. I could be off on that, so like I said, it has been a while. So anyway, as far as how it flies, though, it is a really stable plane. It's one of the first things I noticed about it when I bought it, is how stable it is. And it's not that fast, though, I will say that. It doesn't have an afterburner or anything. You're not going to be breaking the sound barrier. In level flight at full throttle, you probably maybe get 475 knots, maybe 500 out of it. Like I said, it has been a while since I've flown it, so I could be off on that one too, but it's somewhere around there. You won't have to worry about any kind of damage with this one beyond the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator damage system, so you won't damage the engine or anything. Now, since the most recent update, or at least the most recent update at the time of recording this, they have added a catapult system and tail hook system to this plane. So it will actually catapult you off a carrier. It actually does work anywhere, so you can catapult yourself off a runway if you want to. I don't recommend it. It gets kind of weird, but you can do it. So if you want to see what that's like, go ahead. It has been through a number of updates since it came out last year, and each one of them has really pretty much improved the plane, so it's pretty good right now. I will say that using the tail hook on the runway does work pretty well. So it just kind of behaves as if you've caught cables on an aircraft carrier with it. All right, well, we'll bring it in here for a landing. You will want to put your flaps all the way down, and you will want to deploy the air brake. The air brake should be mapped to whatever your spoilers are mapped to in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You will want to be below 200, or at least at 200 knots, to put your gear down, put your flaps down. You're going to want to probably come in here at about 165 knots. I'm going a little slow here, so I'm sure I'm going to get a warning soon.
Power.
It does have good brakes, so it will stop pretty quickly for you. And that'll do it for the Hawk, so we'll go into the review, and that'll be it for today. Alrighty, well, you can purchase the T-45 Goshawk from either the Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace or from milviz.com. It's $29.99. Now, I'm not sure if you get weapons on this thing. This was the first plane I bought for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I bought it through the Marketplace. Milvis doesn't mention anything about it having weapons on its website, so it kind of makes me assume that it doesn't. The texture quality is really good, though. Both the interior and the exterior look great. The sound quality is also really good. Now, I've never heard Hawk in real life, so I don't have a frame of reference as to how realistic the sounds are. But everything does sound really good. It's real crisp and clear. As far as the maneuverability of it goes, it's pretty good. I don't remember which update it was, but they increased the roll rate and improved its sort of overall maneuverability. And it is a very stable aircraft, so it's got that going for it. It does come with 11 paint schemes. The only complaint I kind of have with it is that the HUD is sometimes very difficult to read. It really only seems to happen, though, during the day when the nose is pointed at the horizon and it's hazy. It's like nearly impossible to actually read. But other than that, it does actually work. Like, it's not like the HUD doesn't work. So it works fine. I have tried to adjust the brightness and switch it to the day setting instead of leaving it on auto. It doesn't seem to fix it. And I seem to remember that the day setting used to change the HUD to a different color or something like that, but I could be misremembering that. So overall, the Goshawk is a fun little jet. I've had a lot of fun with it. And that's pretty much going to be it for today. So thanks for watching, and I hope there's a next time.